Normalize clicking no tip on the iPad. Normalize it. I am dead tired of paying for things that should not be tippable.
Ben & Jerry's just for a fucking scoop of ice cream? No.
There's no tip option. Why are you asking me to tip on groceries?
Man, if you think I'm gonna tip a mechanic, you out your mind. I ain't no mechanic was out here looking for tips, bro. That's why y'all not working.
I'm at the Goodwill. She was like, yeah, people typically tip us about like $10, $20 when we bring stuff out to their car.
Everybody wants to tip just for showing up to work.
Everybody got greedy. Now you can't escape tips. And it's sad because it wasn't always like this. Actually, most people say tipping culture is getting out of control. And no, I didn't just make that up. According to Bankrate, a whopping 41% of people say tipping culture has gotten out of control. What's even crazier is that number is up 35% from last year. And maybe the frustration is rising because everywhere you go, about to flip the screen on you. You're about to get asked, would you like to leave that tip? Or better yet, they'll hit you with the, all right, it's just gonna ask you a quick question on the screen real quick.
I'm sorry, y'all don't have to agree with me. I never gave a I am not tipping you for some that is really not even tippable. Never before the last 3 years would anyone ever have thought about asking for a tip for. I'm sorry, it's not happening. Service providers are one thing, okay? Tattoo artists, cosmetologists, estheticians, hairdressers, makeup artists, whatever. That's one thing, okay? Servers, delivery drivers, even like sometimes if I'm ordering takeout or I'm picking up a to-go order, the expos, because I've served, I've expoed, I've hosted. I get it, sure. Drive-through, no. I'm sorry. Ben & Jerry's just for a fucking scoop of ice cream? No, it's not happening. I'm sorry.
The voice quiver is getting me.
Not happening.
And I know what a lot of y'all are thinking. This has to be an exaggeration. Tipping for ice cream? Who would dare? Don't worry, I'm enlightening a lot of y'all. But first, let's head to the comments to show you all how crazy it's getting out here in these streets. And we're gonna treat all the comments like they're testimonials. So testimonial number 1. Why am I tipping at buffets? I served myself. Subway? No. And yes, they do ask for a tip. I never understood tattoo tipping, like you set your own prices. And another testimonial saying I booked a hotel online and it asked if I want to leave a tip for who? Myself? Precisely. And to support the testimony of the last lady who was talking about ice cream, we have a woman here who went to Cold Stone. Guess what happened?
Like, I just took my kid to Cold Stone Creamery. We don't go there usually. And why was it $8.50 for a kid's ice cream? And then it says on there, do you want a tip? And it only, obviously no, and only gives you tip options. There's no tip option. So then you got to be like, how do you get out of this? Like, how do you not tip? And then they look at you like, roll their eyes, pissed off that you don't want to tip them $1.50 for this like little, let me see the ice cream. Yeah, like this little kid's, it looks bigger in this video, but it's not that big.
It's worse than we thought, people. It's worse than we thought. So you mean to tell me it didn't even give her the option to not tip? How are you going to hold somebody's money hostage? Is your job scooping ice cream or being the tip police? Not adding up. And this is why a lot of people are feeling like things are out of control. You think you're gonna come in and pay for your product or whatever it is you bought, and the next thing you know, you're getting mean mugged. You're being guilt tripped over a tip.
Keep your 8%.
Okay.
And they gaslight you so bad, you end up wondering, am I supposed to be tipping for a scoop of ice cream? Am I in the wrong? Is this the industry standard? Did we as a society agree that this is worth tipping for? Because where are we drawing the line at? I need the rule book. And obviously, so do the people in these videos. And I wish this was an exaggeration, but it says here, I'm done with the tipping everywhere you go. Every single place asks for a tip. I'm over it already. The prices are so inflated and everybody wants an effing tip. And this is one of the craziest I've seen. My Exterminator sent me a tip request on a $250 bill. I'm like, are you kidding me? Absolutely not. Unbelievable. Another comment says, I went to a self-service yogurt place that prompted for a tip. You can't even get a diarrhea delight without that question hitting the screen. And it's really getting out of hand. They're at the airport, at the kiosk, and then the unthinkable happened.
Guys, we're at the airport, guys, and in these kiosks, at the very end, it asks you if you want to leave a tip. And literally, we're at the kiosk putting in our order, and at the very end, there's a screen. How much tip do you want to leave? Dude, it's a Whataburger, number 1. Number 2, they can't even take the order. Why would they ask for tips, guys? And here's the thing, this is a Whataburger, a fast food chain, in the middle of the airport.
Right.
Like, do better, Whataburger. If you want to increase your prices to pay better your employees, do that. Don't be asking for tips, dude. You want us to subsidize your poor pay? Is that how this works? Like, ask the government for some refunds or something, but asking for a tip at the kiosk, mind you. At the kiosk where we put our own order. It's too much, guys. It's too much.
It's an abomination, I tell you. At the kiosk at the airport food is already high. Whataburger, you got some explaining to do. Because I thought for a second, yeah, it might just be because it's at the airport. Maybe it's a franchise. Maybe there's no association with Whataburger actually asking people for tips. But then I seen this.
Cashier asked me to answer the question at the top. Of course I knew it was a tip. So I was looking for the no tip and it wasn't there. It was 15, 18, 20 and other. And I was too embarrassed to click on other.
So essentially, she got guilted into leaving a tip. The peer pressure is real. And who would have thought in 2026, this is where we would be. People are actually just going ahead and putting any number for a tip just to be left alone. It's giving, I do not give consent.
Who said that?
And with that being said, no means no, and it's okay to say no. Actually, I stand corrected. This is again at the DFW airport. What is going on? But we still ain't letting y'all slide because this is a to-go order. The real question is, should people be tipping on to-go orders? Now, I thought as a society, we agreed if you're eating in a restaurant, yes, that is appropriate time to tip. There is a waiter or a waitress serving you, enhancing your overall experience at the restaurant, and supposed to be giving you good customer service. What customer service is going on with a to-go order? Wasn't that the whole point? What was said about the servers are they're not making enough money, which I understand as somebody who was a waitress. $2 to $3 ain't getting us very far. But I understand why a lot of people feel like the companies need to pay their employees more, especially when they aren't getting paid like a waitress or a waiter. Because it's becoming very awkward for people. If you feel what I just said, you're not the only one. You probably fall into these statistics from Bankrate.com. And it says here, 63% of people agree with statements like this. I feel like businesses should pay their employees better than relying so much on their tips. 63% of people feel like that. Again, stating that tipping culture has gotten out of control, which leads me to think maybe Americans aren't anti-worker. It actually seems like people support service workers, people who work in regular restaurants, or any job for that matter. It sounds like people are anti being turned into the payroll department, anti being used, anti feeling guilt-tripped for not paying money that they feel the big corporations should be paying to their employees. But tell me what you think. And nobody's safe, not even those of y'all who like to get your eyelashes done.
Can we please talk about tipping eyelash technicians? I paid $220 for my eyelash extension. And maybe some of you will think that I'm crazy and it's very expensive. And you are right, it's very expensive. I used to pay $170, which is also very high, but I like a good quality eyelashes. So anyway, I moved to Connecticut, so now I have to pay a double price of literally everything, especially in the beauty industry, which is fine, but I understand it's a very complicated job. Like, you literally say to do eyelashes, it's very hard. So I paid $220, and then she turned her little screen. There's an option to tip on top of $220, but I need somebody from the industry to let me know if that's normal, because I'm about to go natural soon.
And it typically gets a little tricky whenever it comes to the beauty services. Many people feel like, hey, charge whatever you think you're worth and I'll pay the price, but don't expect a tip. And on the other side, a lot of people feel it's necessary to tip the people providing them the beauty services. Some of the providers will even get upset with you if you don't leave them a tip, even though the prices might be kind of high. So I need all of y'all to tell me down below, what do y'all think? And it's always interesting to hear from a hairstylist. There's one in the comments that says, I've been doing hair for 3 years. A tip should never be expected, in my opinion. You should do your own pricing accordingly, and if you get tips on top of it, that's great. I'm certified in lash extensions, and it's a very tedious job. But in this industry, I feel like you shouldn't always expect a tip, which is interesting because we were just talking about this. She ended up replying saying, some texts make you feel bad when you don't tip. Also, I don't know why, but I'm afraid that if I don't tip, they won't do a good job next time. Ooh, she ain't never lied about that one. Cause tell me some of them don't hold a grudge. You get put on an imaginary list of a customer who doesn't tip. Those customers, from what it seems, aren't entitled to outstanding customer service. It's like the more you tip, the better you get treated. Now, this is the part where a lot of y'all get flustered. Cause now you feeling like Tupac. All eyes on me. Actually, according to Bankrate.com, annoyance with pre-entered tip screens is 38%. Actually up 34% from last year. And for all the workers that love to flip the screen on people, this next part, you might want to take notes for your next customer. It says here, additionally, 27% say they tip less or not at all when presented with a pre-entered tip screen, which is actually up 25% from last year. It is clear the people have had enough. Because who can escape it at this point? Honestly, you can't escape tips. You're gonna get that tip screen at a coffee shop, at a fast food counter, even the kiosk, even in places where you did all the work. And then on top of that, you're hit with this psychological pressure of somebody watching you hit no tip.
I did not tip the girl who did my braids yesterday, and this was the first time I haven't tipped to get my hair done, and I was fueled with anxiety, especially when I hand her over the cash and she starts counting it, and I was like, just did not feel like tipping was necessary on this service. For reference, this was $350 to get done. These are small, knotless, and this is a French curl braid. That averages out, took her 7.5 hours, $46 an hour, minus the cost of hair, so we'll just round it down to $40 an hour. She didn't have to commute, she's not paying any extra overhead because she works from home. I think that that's a really good price. How many people are making $40 an hour? I want to also add that I had to go to the ATM, which is the most inconvenient method of payment, to go get the exact amount of cash that I need for the appointment. I also had to come wash, conditioned, and blow dried, and I was the one that had to do the commuting. This is no shade, no tea, no nothing. This was the most comfortable braiding experience I've ever gotten. She was the best braider I've ever had, and I will definitely be going back to her. A lot of people say tipping is how you say thank you, but to me, saying thank you is how you say thank you. Respecting people's policies, arriving to your appointment on time, being respectful of the space that you're in, letting them take photos of their work after, and maybe telling your friends, or if you have a social media following, that to me is how you say thank you. We don't need to bump someone's $40 an hour work up to $45 to say thank you. Sue me.
Oh, and I know this one's gonna have y'all mad in the comments, and if you want to fight, you know what you can do? Join the military, because I already did my time. And did she say $300 something? Because for $350, the tip ain't included. I'm just asking for a friend. The first testimonial says, tipping fatigue is real, definitely needs to be scaled back, especially with the cost of things. Another testimonial says, $350 includes the tip. I guess my question was answered. Another saying, can we just pay for the service for real? And another saying, I'm no longer tipping on nails. They rush. No more basic nail care. And they complain if I want to do an add-on for a design or a shape. Ooh, not the nail salons catching a stray right now. And I guess the debate here is, are you wrong for not tipping for a service, especially a more costly one, where people can set their own prices? I see nothing wrong with tipping for your hair if you so choose, but did y'all hear how she described feeling when she handed the lady the money, knowing that the tip wasn't in there? This whole tipping thing is becoming toxic. It really is. Y'all got people shook, scared to look you in the face because they ain't get no tip. Now y'all said set the prices and charge your worth, and then nobody should be mad about the tips, but then somebody's still gonna be mad that you didn't tip. And I wish everybody could get tipped, but the truth is, I don't think enough people have enough money to tip everybody that does a service for them. And when I say everybody, this is what I mean. You can't even go to the convenience store without getting hit with the screen gonna ask you a little quick question.
I was just at a convenience store and I bought a 6-pack. I haven't bought a 6-pack in a long time. Not the point of the story. He asked me for a tip. Not only did the cashier not help me at all during my time in the store, he actually ignored me and was talking to other customers while I was waiting in line with one item. But when the tip screen came on, I automatically hit 15%. Didn't realize it until after I checked out. Tip machines prey on people pleasers and people with ADHD who get easily distracted. And I'm both.
Oh, and she brought up a great point. The people pleasers, those of y'all who buckle under the pressure of, I don't want to disappoint them, I don't want to let them down, I don't want to feel like the bad guy. Yeah, y'all are the ones feeling it the most, because there's a lot of people out here that are unapologetically like, I'm not giving you anything for a to-go order. I'm not giving you nothing for scooping a thing of ice cream. And I won't even lie, I got a few times because I ain't have my magnifying glass. That's what I meant to say anyway. And you hand me this blurry screen. And why do I hit 25? I don't know. Didn't mean to. I don't got my glasses on. Why is it set so high anyway? Why do I see 30%?
You put my chip in there? Yeah, I did 25%.
You just auto-selected my tip without even asking?
I do that every single time.
Because I feel like you messing with me and you knew what you was doing. And y'all can't even go to a concert. This testimonial here says, even the merch check out at the Taylor Swift concert asked for a 20% tip after dropping $300 on the merch. The only thing swift about it was them running off with the tip. And for the people pleasers, this says just hit 0% and look them in the eye while doing it. Assert dominance. Take notes, y'all. Get your notebook and the pen. This is overly predatory tipping culture needs to stop. And yeah, they might have got her at a convenience store and you're like, oh, Simone, it can't get much worse than this. It's a convenience store. That's normal. Okay. Remember when I said everywhere you go?
I just went to Whole Foods to pick up a sweet treat post-run. I went to the bakery, I just grabbed an oatmeal raisin cookie. It was $1.50, very cheap. I went to the coffee counter, I paid for it, and the lady's like, oh, you have to do one more thing. Why are you asking me to tip on groceries? That is insane. It was like $1.05. I gave her $1 because it was already $1, but like, that's insane, right? Am I crazy?
I wouldn't say she's crazy. I'd say she probably fell into the peer pressure like everybody else. Nobody is safe. If you walk out your house and you're asked to pay, there is a high chance that on that screen, it's gonna ask you for a tip. And I might have just got last week about it. I got my car detailed. And the man said, do you wanna leave a tip? And I didn't, what do I do in the situation? This is why I'm making the video. I need answers. We as a collective need to figure it out. I ain't gonna lie, they was gonna get a tip anyway because they did a really good job. But I digress. You can't even go shopping online for an undergarment. I didn't even know that online orders weren't safe either.
I'm over it. I'm over this tipping culture. Completely over it. I'm on Instagram. I get an ad pop up for new jelly bras from She Curve. And I was like, okay, mom needs a new bra. When does mom not need a new bra? And I go order it, check it out, and I get this. Tip the team. Tip the team. Tip the team for what? Doing their job? I don't understand. I will tip restaurants. I will tip my nail lady, my hair lady. If I go get a massage, I will tip, and I tip well. I am done being asked for tips on everything. I'm done. I own my own business. I don't add tips to my invoices. Why should I tip someone for doing their job? Which it probably, even if it goes to the employees, it's a write-off for those big businesses saying, look, we gave them extra. I'm done. I'm done. Bras left in my cart. They're not getting my money. I am so freaking done with this tipping culture. It is toxic. I'm over it. I'm over this tipping culture.
And I understand. At least they started at 10%. Didn't tips used to be like 8%? Am I tripping? Anyway, they started here at 10. They go up to 20. But for some underwear, you're on online ordering. At this point, just say you want donations, right? It ain't like they sat down there with the catalog with her and said, you know what? This will go well with your frame. This really brightens up your eyes. They didn't do none of that. They didn't even cook you dinner. A tip for what? And it's crazy, even at the bakery, a drive-through bakery, someone said they ordered a dozen cookies. They turned the screen. The lowest tip was 18%. I'm just as perplexed as you. And I'm even more confused because this next comment says, the guy who fixed my garage door had a tip screen. I'm so done too. And I fear I don't know who to tip anymore. And I'm not a people pleaser because I drew the line at to-go orders. But when it came to little stuff like this, I don't know. Is this normal for a garage door? Are we supposed to tip the plumber and the electrician? Because the summertime is going to be here before we know it. And some of us got questions and we need some answers. And this is weird. You're valid. I had to get my fingerprint scanned last week for $75 and they wanted me to tip 25%. What is this even? What is the world coming to? And America is ghetto at this point because in Europe, they ain't doing all this extra stuff. And videos like this next one are why I just don't know what to do anymore. It says here, tipping etiquette for getting your car serviced is going to the gas station next door to get the guys some Gatorade and a snack. Now, I think this is a nice gesture, but tipping etiquette?
You the one working on my alignment? This is for you. You're welcome.
And this is a very nice thing to do, don't get me wrong, but when you say it's tipping etiquette, it gives the illusion or impression that if everyone else isn't doing this, they're the scum of the earth. You ain't got no home training. Ghetto.
The ghetto. The ghetto.
And I love seeing nice gestures done for people, don't get me wrong, but I fear this might be a little over the top. Let me know what y'all think. Now, she said she got a discount and I'm happy for her, but somebody in the comments said, people pleasers, final boss. I can't confirm nor deny. Maybe she just wanted to be nice. I don't know. Another says, oh, please, I'm not tipping them for doing their job. They're overcharging as is. And another saying, they ain't getting nothing else. And comment down below, do y'all tip your mechanics? I don't know, maybe she gonna get us together.
I'm supposed to tip my mechanic. I went to the dealership. Am I supposed to tip them? If I wasn't at the dealership, I would tip them. That's weird. Okay, let me know.
So she said she would tip if it wasn't at the dealership, but regardless, I would just naturally be like, no, I'm not tipping. Like, you're probably gonna charge me like $350 for something that you say is a mechanical function and the whole door needs to be removed in order to get to one little piece so you can replace that piece because of how the car is built or something crazy. Too much. And if y'all start doing that, they gonna be expecting it of everybody. And we might already be too late because this next video says mechanics asking for tips now. Ugh. And he's replying to a comment that says, not hard to find. Y'all want to get lower prices and don't tip? Oh my gosh.
Why would I tip a mechanic, bro? Please tell me why would I tip a mechanic? Like I said, bro, I got the money, man. I got the money. I just want my motor put in. The mechanic I took it to, he was gonna charge me $1,500 to put the motor in the tundra. I got the $1,500, bro. It ain't nothing, bro. I got the money. All I want is the motor put in my truck. Now, if you think I'm gonna tip a mechanic, you out your mind, bro. I ain't no mechanics was out here looking for tips, bro. That's why y'all not working. Is that why a mechanic not working? Cause y'all not getting tipped, bro? If you want more than what you asking, bro, just ask for more, bro. But I'm not. If he charged me $1,500 to put the motor in, bro, I'm gonna give him $1,500. Why would I give him more?
Right.
You ask me that. I mean, you ask yourself that, bro. Why would somebody give you more? Tipping a mechanic, bro, that's completely new to me, bro. I ain't never in my life. I ain't never in history. Never in history, bro, have I heard of somebody tipping a mechanic, bro. You out your mind.
And I fear I've been vindicated. Actually, I don't fear it. That's actually quite comforting. So starting to get a little worried out here. And this comment here says, we're gonna be tipping doctors next week. And don't joke like this, because it's already too much. The medical field been getting down on us for so long. Don't give them no ideas. And while we're talking about cars, why don't we talk about the car wash? Maybe it ain't going down over there. Please, no.
They just asked me if I wanted to leave a tip, and I'm at an express car wash. I asked the guy, are you going to drive my car? He said, no, it's express. I'm like, well, why are you asking me to leave a tip? This tipping thing is getting ridiculous. Everybody wants to tip nowadays just for showing up to work. What do you think? Do you tip at Starbucks or restaurants where you order your food at a counter? Or do you tip when you get a full service? Let me know.
And while I think this is crazy that this man is tipping at a car wash, that's an express car wash, because I'm not really sure what they did since it's probably automated. People are absolutely tipping at Starbucks, tipping for coffee. Look, here are some people actually that work at Dutch Bros Coffee, and they're saying here, tipping is totally optional. So tip your baristas or don't. We really don't care. Just get Dutch. And you know what? I don't believe that. And I know that this might just be a video where they trying to butter the people up, but at Starbucks and a lot of the places, people are being asked to tip the people who are making the coffee. And maybe these two don't care, but I know somebody somewhere is getting the funny look after getting their morning coffee or their overly sugared up drink from one of these coffee places. Y'all aren't about to gaslight me with this nice, wholesome video like, oh no, we really don't care, do you? Because the customers are having a whole nother experience than what y'all are saying.
I feel harassed every time I go to a coffee shop, whether it's Starbucks or Foxtail, and they shove that damn screen in my face asking for a tip, and then I have to click about 5 different buttons to bypass the tip to put no tip. And at that point, it's just awkward. It's just awkward at that point. I'm just like, please just give me my coffee so I can roll out of here. And they're making a face. They're not even saying my pleasure or you're welcome because I didn't tip them. Like, girl boo, you work at a coffee shop.
And you know what? The my pleasure, you only gonna get that from Chick-fil-A. And sometimes they be slipping nowadays. But you see, they do make a lot of faces at people. And I don't know what this whole, nobody cares, nobody minds. A whole bunch of malarkey. And I wish I was joking, but also Goodwill? What is going on?
Y'all stop and listen to this story that just happened to me 15 minutes ago. I'm not even joking. Tipping culture has gotten out of hand. I am so beyond sick of it. So I'm at the Goodwill bins, the pound store where you dig through the bins and they weigh it and charge you by the pound. Okay. Right. I go back to their furniture section and I see this little toddler stool where they can help you in the kitchen without being on the counter. It's a wooden one. It's pretty heavy. Okay. But it's nice. And they wanted $5 for it. And I was like, heck yeah, I'll get this for my 2-year-old. It's going to be great. So I'm managing at 35 weeks pregnant to carry this thing to the cash register. Halfway there, this girl stops me and is like, whoa, like literally says whoa like 20 times. And I kind of like stopped in my tracks bags and looked at her, and she was like, you don't need to be carrying that. How far along are you? I was like, 35 weeks, almost. And she was like, yeah, no, I'll be right back. She goes and grabs a dolly, okay? And she helps me take it to the front. I check out, and no, I was carrying this thing at first. So she's helping me take it out to my car on her own terms, on the dolly. And she's like, yeah, people typically tip us for bringing stuff out to their car. I was like, oh.
They tip at Goodwill for bringing stuff to the car? Since when? Because I've been going since I was like 8, and I'm almost 32. We was carrying stuff out in a trash bag. Somebody lying.
Oh, that's so sweet of them. And then I kind of like looked at the stool, tried to change the subject, and was like, my daughter's gonna love this, whatnot. And she was like, yeah, people typically tip us about like $10, $20 when we bring stuff out to their car. I was like, listen, I only have card. Like, I don't have cash. And she was like, can you run to your nearest ATM? Who do you bank with? I can tell you where the ATMs are. I was like, I bank with Navy Federal. There's none. And she was like, oh, there's like one 15 minutes away. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll drive. I ain't going back. I'm not going back.
Right.
Tell me why you willingly, on your own terms, helped me roll this thing out when you saw I was carrying it on my own, okay? I was more than capable of doing it, and I was doing it, okay? And then you want to sit there and tell me to run to my ATM. Anyways, I'm getting in my car, and she's like, don't forget, I'll be here until 11:30. Bring me my tip. And I was like, I need to go back and speak to a manager because, dude, you should not be out here begging for tips.
You mean out here hustling? Because that's what you was doing. And I don't got the employee handbook. But ma'am, I don't think that's protocol.
Begging for tips. Like, what the heck? Dude, I don't even want to go back. I don't want to go back. I don't want to see her, him. I don't even know what. Girl with short hair. I don't know, bro. Don't even get me started. I'm not going back. Not going back. Why? Dude, you don't gotta be tipped for everything, especially when you saw I was doing it on my own. I didn't ask you to help me. You offered to help because I was pregnant. Then you taking that into your advantage. You're like, oh, because she's pregnant, I'm gonna help, and then I'm gonna try to tell her to give me a tip. Get out my face with that.
And the pregnant women ain't even safe. You can't even go to Goodwill. This is a shame. And she said, bro, I hate this tipping culture. There's no escape. Who can you run to? Because wherever you go, they want to tip too. This one might have took the cake because it's Goodwill. Goodwill? And someone here is saying Goodwill doesn't even allow their employees to use tip or to get tips. You should have called up there because that's her side hustle. That's what I was saying. She's a hustler, baby. What? I never heard of such. Another comment says, I'm not tipping $10 for a $20 item that I paid $5 for at Goodwill. And this comment says, sure, I'll be right back. And you can't even go get you a little sub without getting hit with the tip culture, even if they make your sandwich in front of you.
Today I had lunch with my husband and my daughter at a cafe called Zupas, which is similar in style to Subway, where you come up to a person, you tell them what you want to eat, and you kind of go down the line as they prepare your food. At the very end, when we were paying, there was a menu that said, how much would you like to tip? And my husband looks at me and I said, no tip. And he said, ooh, your daughter's not gonna like that. And as we took our food and walked away, she did say, Mom, you should tip. Or why didn't you tip? And I said, well, because I am not going to play into this idea that the general public should be supplementing employers who should be paying their employees a livable wage. And she said, okay, Mom, but you shouldn't be taking that out on the employees. That's not the answer.
What?
And I said, I agree. And in places where it's traditional to tip, like when you're at a full service restaurant or to your hairdresser, I will tip and I will tip well. However, in places where it's not been traditional and people are just starting to ask for tips, I'm afraid that if I begin tipping, employers are going to use that as an excuse to say, well, actually, we don't need to raise wages because we're already being supplemented by tips. Or actually, now our employers are making more, so we actually don't have to pay them as much. And I am not okay with that. I am not trying to stiff employees, but I am not going to play into a system that is trying to normalize the consumer paying for the entirety of the employee's wages. I mean, of course, not the entirety, but a lot of it. I'm not okay with that. And I don't think that that is stiffing the employees. I think that even though they're not getting that little bump, I think in the long run, that's going to be better for our society in general. Do you guys think I'm insane? Am I really being mean to people?
I don't even think she's tripping because she posted this, funny enough, in May 2024. And here we are in 2026 with all the craziness that I have shown you all in this video as far as tipping and how far it's got. It's everywhere. You can't escape it. Honestly, she was just ahead of her time because look at us now. And I was asked to tip on a Subway sandwich one time. And when I said, well, who gets the tip? Do you know the employee replied with, actually, I don't know. I think the manager who wasn't even there, allegedly, gets the tips. Make it make sense. And I asked the girl, so you never got any tip money on your check? She said no. So why y'all spinning over the screen? You ain't even benefiting from, some of y'all, not even benefiting from spinning the screen around. Making it awkward, making it weird. And yeah, I was probably gonna give her a little something because, you know, she was being nice. But that ain't the point. I was feeling generous that day. That's my choice. But dang it, those of y'all who work in these service industries asking us, do we want a tip? We thinking you getting the tip, you ain't getting no tip. Why you want to be the tip police? And as if all this wasn't already bad enough, people are also being asked to tip on to-go orders, takeout.
I want to preface this by saying that I've worked in hospitality for 10 plus years, served tables, tended bar, you name it. I fully support tipping culture, nothing against it at all, but I do believe that it's out of control. I do believe tipping culture is out of control. Now, T-Mobile Tuesdays just did a deal, buy one, get one free here at Pizza Hut. So I drove the 10 minutes to Pizza Hut right here, which I never come here, but get pizza for the kids on a Friday.
Right.
Drive the 10 minutes, boom, 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 park the car, go walk in. And as I'm checking out, the machine asks me if I want to leave a tip. And I just don't feel good about that. It makes me uncomfortable. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm the only one. But listen, like, I'm all about tipping great service. All about tipping great service. But I just don't feel like it's justified there. I'm doing half the work. Delivery, absolutely. Sitting at a table, absolutely. Being, sitting in a bar, absolutely. Valet, absolutely. I don't know. I just don't feel good about picking up food and leaving a tip. I just don't.
And a lot of people feel like it's begging. Not according to me. According to the comments. This first testimonial says, everybody begging for tips. I agree with you. This is one of those that I really don't understand. Tipping on a to-go order. Feel how you want to feel. And if you want to fight, you can join the military because I already did my time. Now, make it make sense for me, please. Feel like if I want a tip, I'll just sit in the restaurant and get the full service because that is the same amount that's being expected on the to-go orders. And I didn't get any of that. And your tip might start off at one level and end up in another level depending on what the service is like as I'm sitting down getting my customer service, because that is what the tip is dependent on. So I don't understand when it comes to a to-go pickup order, what am I evaluating to say, hey, I got excellent service or I didn't get excellent service? On top of that, many times the orders be wrong. I done drove off, went to the house, it's missing stuff, I done got the wrong pizza, you done have me drive back, wasting time and energy, forgot to give me my Parmesan cheese, I already done tipped you, and I'm the one that got bad service. Because again, they gonna hit you with that screen every time. And the sad part is that's even when you feel like being generous, when you just like, hey, you walk this out to the car, or y'all are real nice and talkative and welcoming when I walked in, I'm gonna give y'all a little something. Still, that's why it's so problematic. And according to this next video, this is a PSA for the people who don't believe in tipping. I guess whether it's in an industry that you should not be tipping, but it somehow became part of the list of people you should be tipping, I don't know.
All those people who be saying they don't believe in tipping, don't think tipping is mandatory. Okay, tell that to your server before they take your order. Tell them about your beliefs. Tell them about how you don't believe in tipping. See what kind of service you get. Let me know.
And you know what? Now, I don't know what type of tipping he's talking about. He might be talking about actually serving a table, but let's just say he wasn't, right? Because they're still handling your food. When you go get these to-go orders and you don't quote unquote believe in tipping, what do y'all think they doing in the back? What they doing in the back? Because I noticed something. Whenever I get a to-go order, this how I usually go. Walk in the restaurant, you greet them, they greet you, and for some reason, your food is in the back. Why is your food in the back? I don't know, but it's done. But you know what they say? Oh, yeah, so your total is blah, 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 blah. Okay, you pay for your food. And they gonna spin that tablet around on you. Okay, it's gonna ask you a quick question. And they're staring at you. Do you want a piece of me? Why are you looking so hard? But anyway.
Restaurant, you will have to tip before your service. This way it will determine what kind of service you will receive. So what would you like?
And they looking and waiting on you to put something down or to not put something down, because guess what? Your food is in the back. Maybe you forgot, but they remember. Then the machine prints out the receipt. Snatch it off real quick. They look at it. You look at it. They see what you didn't put down. You know what you didn't put down. And they go to the back and go get your food. What you think going on back there? Huh?
is the lowest quality of service. So I'm actually gonna be back in 20 minutes to take your food.
Why do y'all always ask for the food to be paid for when the food is in the back when I came? I want the food in the front. You wanna know why? Depending on what I put as the tip or didn't put as the tip, I know there ain't no malice. But now I don't know if there wasn't no malice because you seen what I put down or what I didn't put down and you went to the back and you took a little bit longer than expected. Handed the food and I was supposed to feel good about it? I don't feel good about this. This whole transaction feels nasty. I don't want no parts of it now, but I'm hungry. So I can't let my imagination get the best of me because I ain't planning on cooking today. And now you're walking out the restaurant and you're thinking, did they do the unthinkable to my food? The world may never know. And neither will you because your food is in the back until you put what you put down for the tip. It's making me uncomfortable. And I know now somebody else's imagination is running wild just like mine. And I'm on to y'all because this comment here says facts. As a bartender / server, I support this message. What part? Huh? What part? What part? I just want to know. I caught the innuendo and we definitely went too far because this comment here says tip even when the service is bad. I already know this is about to be some BS, but we gonna listen to it anyway.
Clark said tip the workers even when the service is bad. Exactly. Clark is for the rights of all service workers. My girl is a girl's girl. I underestimated her. I didn't know your game, Clark. I should have known better. But okay, I see you and I receive you, my sister.
And I wouldn't have cared if she was Clark Kent. And I love Superman or Batman or whoever he was. Y'all know what I meant? Tipping even when service is bad? What do you mean? So not only do you have to tip everywhere you go, but even when the service is bad, leave a tip. Where are we drawing the line in the sand? And do y'all agree with that? Just tipping even when the service is bad? Isn't that the whole point of a tip? The employee is supposed to pay people, but we know in some industries they don't. And we understand what industries those are. We get it, okay? And I'm an advocate for those people to get tipped as somebody who used to serve people. But when the service is bad, so you mean to tell me as a server, expect tips when you do a bad job? Because my hard-earned money and a lot of other people's isn't just a participation trophy everybody's gonna get. Since when did everybody get entitled to other people's hard-earned money? Because are we just supposed to act like the percentages that we're tipping on the service isn't a lot?
Check it out, guys. This is how we pay here in America. You can see all the three options for tipping. 20% used to be the high end. 18% was okay service and 15% was just, your baseline. But now they want 25%, which...
If you guys thought that was bad, look at this. 30% on the low end, mid-range 40% tip, and then 50% tip. These people are trying to charge us an extra half of the original price as tip. Now, this tipping culture is getting out of hand. Look, I'm all for tipping, except maybe when I'm going to pick up at a store. If I'm not sitting down in that store, I don't think there's any need to tip. Yeah, if you're sitting down at a store or you're getting food delivered to you, yeah, it's good to tip. Back in the day, 12 to 15% used to be like a really good tip. Now it's looking like you don't even have that options in some stores. Look at this. These restaurant owners are getting richer and richer while we as the customers, we have to pay the employee's salary. These corporations need to pay their employees a better salary and they should stop guilt-tripping us into paying salaries for them. What do you guys think of this crazy rise in tipping prices or tipping percentages at the moment?
And it's definitely out of control. And I want to know, what percentage do y'all tip? Because yeah, a lot of the businesses set their own percentages that they want to give as options to their customers, right? And some of them have got hit upside the head, quite frankly. Because what is this? 30%, 40%, 50%. And I'm not really sure why I'm shocked, but some people even have on their 100% tip button.
Ridiculous. If I ever see a tip option like this when I go out to eat, I promise you, I will hit 0 tip faster than your father left your life when he found out you were being conceived. The audacity of a restaurant to even put this option is ridiculous. I truly believe we might be at the end because this is unhinged behavior, bro. 100%? What's next? You gonna ask me for 120? At some point, we have to put our foot down. If someone wants to leave 100% tip, that's okay. But you're not finna suggest that to me and make me feel broke. Because you telling me you want me to pay for my meal twice when I only got to eat it once? Nah, bro. Yeah.
And then on top of that, some of y'all gonna use credit and get hit by the credit card companies tipping these outrageous percentages, and you still paying on it 6 months later. And if you don't do it, you're broke. You see how I'm not falling for the propaganda. This is nuts. And for 100%, you better come home with me and do the dishes and my laundry and walk my dog, because some of y'all out of hand. And I never thought I'd see the day that people would be saying stuff like this. It says here on the screen, you need to tip at least 50%. In what world? I don't want to go there.
Tipping at a restaurant is not the same as tipping at an all-you-can-eat restaurant, and that is not the same as tipping at a regular restaurant that is doing an all-you-can-eat promotion. If you're at a regular restaurant, 20%. I think we all agree on that. We know that. If you're at an all-you-can-eat restaurant, they might charge a little bit higher, maybe in like the $50 range. So you might tip them 30, 40%. I know it's higher, but if you're there for a long time, if you're just going there and eating a little bit and leaving, then it's no big deal. But someone like me, I'm in there for a couple hours. I'm shoveling. So I'm putting that man to work.
Hours? You ain't got nowhere to be, sir?
If I'm at a restaurant, it's doing an all-you-can-eat promotion. B-dubs, Olive Garden's all-you-can-eat bottomless pasta, stuff like that. Sometimes they will charge you $20 for all-you-can-eat. That's called a loss leader. They're trying to bring in more customers for the rest of the year. The company, you shouldn't feel bad for the company's losses, but that poor restaurant worker does not deserve a $4 tip serving you for an hour or 2 hours straight. It's absurd. But now I always tip at least 100% in these places, at least.
Maybe I'm disconnected because I don't do like buffet wing stuff. How much does this stuff cost, y'all? Is it like $6? Because if he's saying he's tipping 100%, I'm pretty sure they're not giving you all you can eat wings and stuff for $6. $6? Are they? Because the way gluttony's set up in a lot of people, yeah, they would be there for hours for $6, but if it's like $20, $40, and I thought he said $50, so you spending $100.
So if it's a $20 Buffalo Wild Wings, all you can eat wings, I'm tipping them $20 at least.
Okay.
Or just tip like you would tip a regular meal. That works too.
So if you get all you can eat wings for $20, you end up paying $40 for the whole experience. Is that what people are doing? I mean, if you like wings, I guess it kind of makes sense. I don't know. But would you tip 100%? Huh.
But I hear all the time from these servers that people will just tip them $4. And it's like, what? The percentage rule is not the same under different circumstances. Why? People just hear the 20% rule and they think that's always reasonable. That's always a reasonable tip. You're being stupid. Adapt, think, be reasonable.
And I need to know, since you said adapt and think, what do y'all think about that? Because that's an interesting perspective. So now if you go out to eat at one of these places that I guess y'all sit for hours, you and gluttony, that's your business, 100% or at least 50%. And I wanted to know what an actual waiter thinks about all of this. And it says here, what's your thoughts on tipping on to-go orders?
I think it is so awkward for me to ask for a tip. Not that I asked like personally, but on the scorecard order that I use and someone pays with a card, the first question is a tip. And then the second question is the receipt or not. So they have to tap no tip or they can leave a tip. Now, sometimes what I do is if I know they're not going to tip me, like they've come in here all the time and they never tip on to-goes, I'll just hit no tip and no receipt because, well, I'll ask if they want a receipt, but it's so awkward to me, especially if I don't know the person. And then there's some people who I'll just hit no tip and I'll be like, here, do you want a receipt? And they're like, oh, leave yourself a tip. So I know my people for the most part, but anytime someone new comes in, just know I feel so bad. I don't know if I'm like every other waitress, but me personally, I feel so bad when I have to ask for a tip on here because I wish I could just have the question go away because I get so, it just makes me feel so bad. Because I know personally, like I know I took the order and then the cook should get the tip actually on the to-go. I think I'm gonna start giving the cook the tip on the to-go because I don't deserve it.
Now that's interesting, but then it opens up the conversation like, do the cooks ever get the tips? Now I know a lot of the time in a lot of restaurants, they tip out. That includes the people in the back, the cooks, getting the collective tips from the waitresses or the waiters. But it might not work that way in every place you work. It's a conundrum. Oh, and people were very vocal under this comment section. Essentially, everyone is just saying, look, if I'm picking it up, no tip. If I sat down, you serve me, I tip. And that's how I'm feeling. That's how I'm feeling today. Give me a little small talk. I might give you, $1 or $2. But feeling obligated? Absolutely not. Another comment says, tip on to go? No, you don't tip when you go through a drive-through. Why would I tip when I'm driving to the restaurant to pick up my food and drive back to my house? Just no. Another comment says, we should all stop tipping. It's totally a scam. Now, I wouldn't say all that. The scam part, Yeah, but I see nothing wrong with tipping the people that normally we would tip. We're going too far, people. We've all gone mad, and I'm tired of it. And just the whole idea that everywhere we go, we can't escape the tips because everybody's so greedy. All of the restaurants are so greedy. The businesses are greedy. When you get a service done, they're greedy. Everybody's gonna hit you with that. The screen's gonna ask you a little quick question real quick, and you can't escape it. Nobody can be free. Not until we as a society figure out what places we gotta draw the line on. Because right now it's looking pretty fuzzy, but we gotta start making better decisions today in order to have a better future.